Just a little video on this little creek that I come to. It's a beautiful little creek here in Maryland. I've come here for many years. Hunter loves this creek. All the dogs I've ever had over the years, during the years that I lived here in Maryland, have come down here. And as you can see, there's a lot of driftwood that's just kind of laying here. We had a storm recently, and apparently this tree broke off from there due to either lightning or perhaps it just was rotten and broke off. And as you can see, when the water was a lot higher, it kind of washed the tree down from that location down to here. And if you look further up here, you can see a lot of driftwood just kind of hanging in the area. And I have come down here to this creek during times of heavy rains, during times of flooding, and even during times of hurricanes. I was just curious to see what the water looked like. And I'm not kidding you, this water was at least 6 or 7 feet deep down here. Right now it's no deeper than maybe 2 or 3 feet, maybe 4 feet in certain areas that have underlying areas. But I have literally seen these banks overflowing with water down here during storms. And it's pretty amazing to see all of this underwater, what you typically don't see underwater on a normal basis. I often wonder what these creeks were like 200 years ago, during the time of the Native Americans, when they pretty much, were here. Actually, longer than 200 years ago now, perhaps 300 years ago, when they were in these forests and their various tribes. And it's amazing to me to think of how we have changed the patterns of water here within our states and within our nation due to damming the water, due to reservoirs and other types of things where man-made control and mechanisms have changed things. But I often wonder what this little creek was like 300 years ago, if it was a bit deeper, or perhaps maybe it was the same, I don't know. But one thing is the same here, and it's just the absolute beauty of nature. Water is something that, we all need. Our bodies are made of the majority of water. Our planet is covered in water for the most part, other than a few continents. And here we are. Water is an essential ingredient. And when you get close to nature, you start going back to that rhythm of nature, that's latent within all of us. In our society, we are under a high state of stress for the most part. People are out chasing the dollar, and we don't come apart enough just to relax, just to be still, as scripture says, and know that I am He. And I'm referring to the great I am in that scripture. But we are to be resting. We are to be observing His Shabbat, the seventh day. At least in my opinion, that's how I interpret the Ten Commandments in scripture. And I think it is pretty clear. But on this day, we find places of rest. We find places of quietness. And I encourage everyone watching this video, if you don't have a quiet place, find one. Even if you're in a city, there are places within cities you can go, parks. There are reservations, places like, forests that are reserved in, perhaps in the suburban areas. Go find them out. If you live in a rural area or a semi-rural area, find out where you can go to be still and come apart into that quiet place, because it is when we are in that quiet place that we have a tendency to think more clearly. And it is in that quiet place, that secret place of the Most High, that we can hear His voice and we can connect more deeply with our Creator and our Redeemer. And He does say, I know the plans I have for you, says Yahweh. Plans not to harm you, but to give you a hopeful and expected end. And I encourage everyone to seek Him out on this day, on every day, but especially on the day that's set apart for a day of rest and quietness before Him. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Even if you don't observe it, have a restful weekend. Be blessed.